Welcome, everyone. Today, we are exploring a crucial but often overlooked aspect of corporate finance, the essential behavioral qualities of Treasury professionals. Let's get started and dive into what makes a world-class Treasury team tick. Let's begin by defining Treasury culture. While technical skills like financial modeling and risk assessment are vital, Treasury culture is the behavioral engine that drives those skills. What exactly is it? It is the thought and action process that gives your team the right mindset and environment to excel. We cover the basics here, blending empowerment with interpersonal dynamics. Why is this so important? Because the right culture is the differentiator between a Treasury team that constantly works overtime in a reactive panic and a cutting-edge, efficient team with zero defects and a great work-life balance. How do we build this? It starts top-down. The treasurer must lead by example, using coaching and simulation to foster these traits. Taking a deep dive, we see that behavioral qualities are the true enablers of success. They multiply the effectiveness of your technical knowledge. Looking at this flowchart, you can see Treasury culture at the apex. It feeds directly into two main branches, technical competence on the left and behavioral enablers on the right. Notice how the behavioral enablers break down further into mindset, attitude, empowerment, and environment. Both the technical and behavioral branches must converge at the bottom to achieve ultimate Treasury leadership. You cannot reach the pinnacle with just one branch. Our first essential behavioral quality is proactiveness. What does this mean in a Treasury context? It is the ability to anticipate dynamic situations, market shifts, and operational disconnects long before they become actual financial problems. The basics involve shifting your mindset from a reactive order taker to a forward-looking strategist. Why is this mandatory? Because financial markets and global supply chains move at lightning speed. If you wait for a liquidity crisis to hit your desk, it is already too late. How do you implement this? By proactively preempting liquidity needs for your internal business units and opening constant lines of communication. In our deep dive, we view the proactive Treasury professional as the firm's early warning radar. They scan the horizon for macroeconomic shifts and provide actionable advice to the CFO to protect the balance sheet in advance. This flow diagram illustrates the stark contrast between two mindsets. On the left, a market shift or event occurs. It hits the Treasury mindset decision node. If the team is reactive, the bottom path leads straight to crisis management and potential financial losses. However, if the team follows the top proactive path, they engage in early warning and preparation. This proactive route is the only way to arrive at our final destination on the right, a protected balance sheet. Next, we must discuss control orientation. What is this? It is a behavioral mindset that is acutely aware of the opportunities for operational errors and fraudulent misappropriation of funds. The basics revolve around ruthlessly enforcing segregation of duties and having the courage to question anomalies. Why is this critical? Because Treasury controls the lifeblood of the organization. You are moving millions, sometimes billions of dollars. A single control lapse can devastate the firm's reputation and finances. How do professionals embody this? By living the mantra, trust, but verify. Every limit breach, every unusual wire transfer must be scrutinized. Digging deeper, a true control orientation goes beyond just checking boxes on an audit form. It is a healthy, professional skepticism. When a new system or process is introduced, the control-oriented professional immediately asks, how could this be exploited, and how do we prevent it? Let's walk through the control orientation framework. A transaction is initiated at the top. It immediately encounters behavioral skepticism. This feeds into our central decision diamond, trust but verify. If the transaction fails verification, it moves to the left. It is flagged and escalated, which triggers a process improvement loop to fix the vulnerability. If it passes verification, it moves to the right for approval and execution. This ensures safety without sacrificing operational speed. Our fourth quality brings us to teamwork and relationship building. What does this entail? It is the interpersonal capability to build strong bridges with both internal departments and external banking partners. The basics recognize that Treasury is essentially an internal service center. You exist to support procurement, sales, tax, and legal. Why is teamwork mandatory? Because Treasury cannot function in a silo. You cannot hedge foreign exchange risk accurately if the sales team refuses to give you reliable cash flow forecasts. You need them as much as they need you. How do you build this? By aligning cross-functional goals and approaching interactions with a solution-centric attitude. In our deep dive, we look at the many hats of the treasurer. A top-tier professional effortlessly switches between being a marketer when securing bank lines, a consultant when advising the sales team on credit terms, and an economist when updating the board. This mind map visualizes the many hats a Treasury professional wears. From the central node, we branch out into 4 distinct behavioral roles: consultant, gatekeeper, marketer, and process engineer. Notice the dotted lines. The consultant and gatekeeper roles primarily interface with internal business units, ensuring smooth operations and control. Conversely, the marketer and process engineer roles frequently face outward, interacting with external banks to secure the best technology and pricing. Moving on, let's explore transparency and written communication. What is this? It is the skill of taking incredibly complex financial data and conveying it with absolute clarity and honesty. The basics involve operational transparency, making sure that internal business units understand exactly what their cost of capital or hedging rates are. Why? Because opaque Treasury operations breed internal distrust. Furthermore, throwing spreadsheets at people, what we call data dumping, is a form of over-communication that wastes everyone's time. How do experts handle this? They craft crisp, articulate emails. The recipient should read the first line and instantly know the problem and the required action. For our deep dive, we must overlay this with cultural knowledge. Global Treasury teams deal with diverse nationalities. Your written communication must be culturally sensitive, avoiding local slang, to ensure absolute clarity across borders. This simple progression highlights the impact of communication. We start with complex financial data. It passes through the communication style filter. If a professional uses the bottom path, data dumping, it leads directly to confusion and internal distrust. But if they use the top path, rendering the data crisp and transparent, it results in clear actions and trust. Ultimately, this transparency is what achieves global alignment across all your subsidiaries. Our 6th quality is process orientation combined with tech adaptability. What does this mean? It is an inherent, unyielding drive for flawless execution, paired with an eagerness to adopt new technology. The basics require a zero-tolerance policy for errors and strict adherence to process maps. Why is this a behavioral trait? Because humans naturally resist change. As your company grows, legacy spreadsheets will break. Professionals must psychologically embrace the shift to automated treasury management systems. How is this applied? By trusting algorithmic checks. Look at our sample code concept on the screen. It is a simple JSON logic rule stating that if an amount exceeds 5 million, the system automatically requires dual authorization. A process-oriented professional loves this automation. In our deep dive, remember that tech adaptability doesn't require you to write code. It requires you to be an intelligent user who understands how to leverage system architecture to drive efficiency and eliminate manual risk. Here we visualize tech adaptability in action. The professional actively moves the firm from the manual process node at the top down into an automated TMS. Inside the TMS, transactions hit the process rule engine. Routine items seamlessly pass through to straight-through processing. Exceptions are automatically routed for human review. Because the professional embraces this technology rather than fighting it, both paths reliably terminate at the ultimate goal: zero error output. Let's examine a real-time, highly important use case that perfectly illustrates why behavioral qualities matter. This is the case of the insider. The scenario: a company had older, unmonitored dividend escrow accounts. An employee, let's call him M, handled both the management of these accounts and was the sole point of contact for the bank. The breach occurred when M submitted forged transfer instructions. The bank system flagged it, but when they called to verify, they called M, who authorized his own theft. The impact: over $400,000 was siphoned off over 15 months. It stayed under the audit radar. How was it resolved? Pure behavioral control orientation. Another employee, F, noticed M's sudden, lavish lifestyle changes. Her professional skepticism kicked in. She proactively investigated, found hidden bank statements, and escalated the issue to the board, stopping the fraud. The ultimate lesson here is profound: technology and audits are not enough. A treasury culture embedded with deep behavioral skepticism and a trust but verify attitude is your firm's ultimate line of defense. This sequence diagram maps the timeline of the insider fraud. First, the fraudster sends a forged wire to the bank. The bank flags it, but incorrectly asks the fraudster to verify it. The fraudster self-authorizes the theft. Then, the vigilant employee enters the sequence. She observes lifestyle anomalies, applies her control skepticism, and investigates. She completely bypasses the compromised internal chain and escalates directly to the board, successfully stopping the fraud. This is behavioral excellence in action. To summarize our session today, true Treasury leadership is never achieved through technical competence alone. It is only realized when you fuse that technical knowledge with elite behavioral qualities. As we look toward an AI-driven, highly automated financial future, the ultimate differentiator for your firm will not be its software, it will be your people. It will be their human judgment, their unyielding ethics, and their capacity for teamwork. Your next steps should focus on embedding these traits into your team's DNA. Move away from passive lectures and utilize experiential, simulation-based training to build real-world reflexes. Take action today to cultivate an environment that actively rewards proactiveness, demands strict control, and insists on transparent communication. I want to thank you for joining this deep dive. I invite all learners to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and visit quicktechie.com for premium certification prep. At quicktechie.com, you will find comprehensive Q&A banks, full ebooks, audiobooks, full-length training, and interview guides to accelerate your career. See you next time. Our final diagram illustrates the creation of the future-ready Treasury leader. We take technical skills from the left and behavioral qualities from the right and merge them into the central diamond, experiential training. This practical application solidifies into proactive problem-solving and ethical control. These two pillars form the foundation that elevates a professional into the ultimate goal at the bottom, the future-ready Treasury leader. Thank you for watching.